what's up, everybody? It's your boy CA Motivates. We are in week 6 of More Than Just a Game. I know I said it last week, but I got it wrong. This week is our actual 6th week of the Iron Lockdown program, and just want to say thank you to everybody for jumping on board and being part of it. And we really appreciate all for your hard work and your efforts. But also following our Motivation Mondays, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, Fridays mornings, and also our Morning Just a Game podcast. Well, tonight is our week 6, and we have a very special guest. Played 3 World Cups, played Rugby League in England, Super League, coached professional teams, and he will be joining us tonight for our Morning Just a Game. So make sure you tune in, make sure that you focus, make sure that you listen, but also have your pens and paper ready, because I know that there are going to be some great takeaways. I've been coached by him, and I've learned so much from him in regards to coaching, mentoring, but also just how to be a good person. And so make sure you have your pens and paper ready. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be awesome. You're not going to leave the same way that you logged in to this podcast. So enjoy it and sit back, relax, and let's go. We're here for another episode of More Than Just a Game. And this evening we have a very special guest. He's done a lot of things in his career, both as a player and also now currently as a coach. And it's such an honor and privilege to have him with us tonight on our show. Welcome to More Than Just a Game, Coach Sateki Tuipulotu. Hey, welcome, Chris.
How are you, Chris, mate? I'm honoured, mate, and very privileged to be on your show. Obviously, another episode for the game, mate. Look, I'm happy to be on board.
And it's awesome to have you, bro. One thing I love about Teki is, I watched you grow. I grew up watching you play, and there was a special moment in one of the World Cups, and I always remember that in my mind. And even after all of that, what you've done, and you're going to speak more about that later on. But one thing that sticks out to me about your character, and I'm going to call you Coach because I still see you as my coach. Is just your love to give back, and and I want to say thank you to you for making time out of your family time, out of your schedule to join us on this More Than Just a Game. So how's everything going on in Sydney, Docs?
Oh, obviously Sydney's a fast lane. Everything with the COVID-19 pandemic. Look, it's stripped it right back for us. I think it's been awesome. I know in one way it has been great for those that obviously lost their lives, but another way you've got to look at the positive side. God stripped us back a bit so we can actually enjoy what we miss out and what we prioritize, in our lives, which is our family. We're always in a fast lane. Every day we're very hectic with our lives, but God has stripped it back so we can actually spend a bit of time at home, with our loved ones, with our kids, with our family. And, what is very important in this time is spending time with family.
That's awesome. That's one of the many things that I love about your pictures. Is I've always seen you on your social media, or just when I was living in Sydney, just the family man that you are, and you are right, especially being head of our household and, being rugby players and coaches, we can be so caught up in what we're doing. But you're all right. These are times to really reflect back on what's important.
Well, it is, Chris. You've got to look at the way the world is at the moment. We're traveling fast. Everything's about money, right? And what actually happens in this pandemic is, all right, everyone's affected. Whether you got money or not, it doesn't really matter.
That's right.
Everyone's affected, right? And you got to look at it as a positives, man. You get time to sit at home, have dinner with your family, talk about other things, because we're also isolated and we're all, at home, right? We get to actually understand and talk about each other.
Yeah, that's right.
Right? And look, with God, everything happens for a reason, mate.
Yeah, that's right. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, before we get into our warm-up questions, one of my awesome memories when I first met you was because I playing the True Shield, I always saw you around. I always knew who you were and what you did for Tonga, and I know you speak more about that, even in that special moment in the World Cup where you kicked the winning goal to beat Italy, which was massive for our nation, and then to turn up to this charity match where we came together as a team, and we had like guys like Steve Ennie and all these other boys that went on to play professional careers. We came together to play against the police. I think was it the police?
Yeah, it was a police force. So we came together. It was the Australian police force. So we came together for that charity match, and mate, just to bring the boys together from different walks of life. Rugby league, rugby union, it didn't matter what kind of level, mate. But bring them all together, mate. It was a fantastic charity.
It was awesome time. I mean, I remember when he gave me the opportunity to come in. But like, for me, the special moment was just being able to strip, where my boots said, play alongside something. You're the legend,
Well, you like to play as long as you can, because look, when you retire, mate, you retire for a long time, mate.
Yeah.
Right, and so if you can play, as long as you can, mate, do it.
Awesome, man. That's awesome, man. And I'll never forget that, because I think that was the beginning of our friendship. And then then obviously being coached by you on a few tours with Tonga A, which is something I always remember. I always remember, giving me motivational talks and encouraging me, and then they will always stick with me. I'll never forget that. And that's what I love about you, Taco.
Thank you, man.
So I take my hat off to you, even though I'm not wearing a hat. But we do have the same hairstyle, so that's all.
Yes, we do.
In fact, I just had a shave not long ago because I didn't want to look like Mr. Miyagi.
Oh, man, I did my workout this morning, mate. I just had to make sure that I was shaven so I can actually look like you, mate.
hey, just another one. I remember seeing a photo, Docs, and I might bring up this photo on our Facebook page where you were in comparison to The Rock, bro. And honestly, when I looked, I was like, far out, like, The Rock can't even tell the difference, man. How was that? Like, because it was on the newspaper in England or something?
Yeah, it was in England, mate. It was in Worcester, mate. They put up, it was Planet Rugby, and they did lookalikes, and obviously I got on that page, and they put the Rock under my name, and they put my name under The Rock, and that's what it was, mate. But obviously, mate, The Rock's wallet's much more heavier than mine at the moment. Obviously,
yeah.
doing well, The Rock.
And I thought that was awesome. Honestly, I couldn't tell the difference. We'll move on from there, Tex. And we'll move into our warm-up questions. For those that have been on, we had a few guests on our show, and what they know is that I always do my warm-up questions, and some funny questions and all that. And some questions got to be really careful, especially if you're married or have a partner, and that, because you don't want to be sleeping out on the couch if you answer wrong. So I just wanted to put that out there. But I've got 4 questions, bro. 4 questions. And the first question, Toko, is, what was your nickname when you were playing, and why? Do you all get nicknames? What was your nickname?
Well, there's a few. Obviously, nicknames. When I was young, obviously, I had a bit of hair. Obviously, they either call me Rocky or Stallone, obviously. And then, obviously, as I got a bit older, he started to recede and he started to lose a bit of hair, mate. Then they started calling me The Rock.
Oh, the man. That's an awesome name, because the only name that I got from the Tongan community was me forever. Oh, Mr. Chief.
Oh, that's all right, mate. That's all right, man. You still look pretty, mate. You still look pretty.
Now that's awesome. I love this. And you do look like Stallone as well. I was gonna say the ages ago, but yeah, you do look like Stallone too, the man. All right, second question. You're a bit of a music man. I know you got some moves. The shoulder moves. The old close your eyes and thumbs up move, and all of that. But as a player, like going into these big games or before a game, you always got your own playlist. And then they say, what was, like they say, game day, international game? Okay, what was Sateki Tuipulotu's playlist going into game day?
Oh, actually, it didn't matter really, because I just wanted to listen to anything with a beat.
Nice.
I had a beat, whether it be rock, whether it be R&B, whether it be reggae, anything that had a good beat, I'll listen to, man. Right, and that's what kept me going.
Did you? Can I ask this? Not even a part of the question, but were you a fan of ABBA?
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Nice.
Nothing wrong with ABBA. Nothing wrong with ABBA, man. Obviously, watching with my kids Mamma Mia, mate. Mate, I think it's a great movie, mate. You know?
Nice. Awesome. Third question, Knox, and this is the one you got to be really careful, is who's a better cook, you or your wife?
Well, I had to ask my wife this morning, just to make sure. So we both agree it's me. So yeah.
I've seen some of your Facebook stories, and I've seen your raw fish, and man, it makes me hungry when I saw that.
That's all right, mate. So when I come down there or you come up here, mate, I have them ready for you.
Nice. That in your little sippy, I saw that as well. I love it.
Don't worry, mate. I'll make some of that as well.
Fourth question, last warm-up question, is if we already know, like, you look like The Rock in Stallone, because I'm into superheroes, right? Superhero movies. And so I thought I was actually this question. I asked this question to Liam Neeson one time, and he said that he wanted to be able to fly, be able to cook at the same time, and drink cover. It was just one of his extra superpowers.
That's a hard one, mate.
So this morning I want to ask you, if you were a superhero, who would you be, like, say, out of the Avengers, and why? And then also, what extra superpower would you add to that hero?
I think I'll be Superman.
Nice.
Right, because the reason why Superman, because you have a look at it, you got all these other characters, you know, the Flash, you got Spider-Man, all of them, right? But everyone goes to Superman, because you know what?
Yeah, so,
he's a complete package, mate.
Oh, I like that, complete package.
He's a complete package, mate. You know, he's strong, he's fast, he's quick. You know, he's got X-ray vision, right? So, mate, he's got a complete package, mate.
Awesome. And would you add what extra power would you add to, like, let's say, like something like what would you add to his already the package?
I add the package, mate. Look, I add flash of speed.
Oh, nice.
Right? I had flash of speed, and then I'd also mentoring powers.
Nice.
From the man above. That's what I have.
Nice. That's cool. Well, awesome, Dickie. That's the end of our warm-up questions. Some awesome answers there. I know that everybody watching this evening are going to take a lot out of that. It's all a bit of fun at the same time. Now we just got some questions more around who is Sateki. Like, so let me say it again. Who is Sateki Tuipulotu? Your background, where you were born, where did you grow up, when did you start playing? But also, like, what were some influence? Who were the big influences in your life when it came to your rugby career?
Well, I mean, look, I was born in New Zealand, all right? So I was born in Auckland. Obviously, everyone knows where Middlemore Hospital is.
Yeah.
All right, over there, south of Auckland. So I was born there. But I came over to Australia at a very young age when I was about 3. All right, so Australia's been my home ever since. I grew up in Australia, knew it all my life. Obviously, my parents are a very big influence in my life, through rugby. Having a twin brother, was interesting, but it also was very good for me because we obviously competed a lot. We grew up together. He was my best friend, my brother Ben, and we grew up a lot, and we did a lot of things together, right? And and having my parents support us with rugby, and with our lives, mate, it meant the world to us. And we're very gladful and very lucky and fortunate that we had that support.
Well, that's awesome, man. That's awesome. I mean, it would have been. I just watched Michael Jordan's documentary the other day, Last Dance, and he was talking about how the competition between him and his siblings actually brought the best out of all of them as well. So, you could just imagine what it would be like with a twin.
Well, it is a twin, mate. We've got the same DNA, and the competitiveness is within us. It's a good one, and it's a healthy one as well, right? Because obviously he wants to beat me, I want to beat him.
Yeah.
And that's how it was nearly all our lives, right? Even with races, even with sometimes girlfriends, mate. You go out and choose one, and I've got to try to better him. But that's that's the way it was for us and my siblings. But then we had my other siblings, my other 2 brothers, and my sister. right? And they too were very competitive as well,
Wow.
right? I have no regrets growing up. The way my parents, taught us, treated us. Yeah, man, I got a slap here. I got hidings. I don't regret it one bit. Right? It's made me the person I am today.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Wow, that's awesome. And I know that there'll be many athletes and that watching right now that would be in that same situation, against their siblings and all of that. But one thing I love about what Teki said there to those that are watching is that you always look at it as healthy competition, and it brings out the best in you. And that's so. No, thank you, Teki. Second question of our interview is tell us a little bit about if you want to about family wise. Many kids you got, and also like how important is family to you?
Well, I've got a beautiful wife. I married a Samoan woman called Heather, and then obviously, we met here in Australia. I married very late. With 5 beautiful kids.
Awesome.
Got my stepdaughter Tiara, and I got my 3 boys. I got Emmanuel's my oldest son, who's 14. I got Matthias, who's 12, and then I got my 2 little ones. There was a gap between Matthias and my youngest daughter, Ronnie Sinna, who's 4, and then I got my youngest son called Mertens. And obviously Mertens is my wife's favourite rugby player.
Yes.
The All Blacks, so Andrew Mertens. So that's why he was named Mertens.
Awesome.
A rugby player. So there's my family. And look, family is very, very important. With whatever decisions you make, the support they have, the love they have for you, it is very, very important. And that's why with my EGR that I do, I know, Chris, you're going to get to the question later on, but with my Evolution Grassroots, it's very important that family support these kids doing grassroots, because I'm one of those coaches that tell the parents not to drop their kids off and just wander off and go get a coffee, but come and watch your son or watch your daughter train, because it means so much to them. The support that they have watching their parents watch from the outside gives them an extra lift. And helps them with their journey.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And that's like I mentioned before. Like I love that you're a family man. I learned so much. I may not have said it to you before, but when I see you with your family and what you do, it really encourages me around with my family and my kids. But also, like as Teki mentioned, he runs EGR. He's the founder, CEO of Grassroots Rugby up in Sydney, Evolution Grassroots Rugby, and they're doing amazing work up there in Sydney. To make sure if you're watching, make sure you hit them up. And we're going to elaborate a little bit more on that later on. But the next question is, Toko, is this is I know the viewers are probably wanting to know more about this as well. Is your career? And we've mentioned a little bit about it, but tell me what were the career highlights for you? Like, what was it like playing your first game for Tonga, that moment against Italy, and also, I know you spent a bit of time in England as well. And what was that like, man? What was those memories?
Well, obviously, look, I grew up playing rugby league.
Wow.
Tender age, I started playing when I was 3. Playing rugby league all the way through to my school days. But the school I went to, called Homebush Boys High School here up in Sydney, I only played rugby union. So I got to play rugby league during the weekend, but rugby union during the school. And I fell in love with rugby because I went on a school tour at the end of the season with New South Wales schoolboys to New Zealand, and for 2 weeks. And the values, the people, the way rugby was run, wow. I came back and then that was it. I was done and dusted with rugby league.
Wow.
Rugby union was right up my alley with the values and the way I want to live my life. And that's why it was, very important. I'm not saying anything wrong with rugby league. No. Each to their own, and we have different ways of inspiring others concerning what sport and what we play. So, just going back with this rugby, then, I started playing first grade shoot shield for West Harbour when I was 17, 18. Straight out of Colts, I thought I'd try myself in grade, and here I was, 17, 18-year-old, just straight out of school. I played over at West Harbour back in the days, called Western Suburbs. And one of my mentors who took me under his wing, I can still remember, was Stephen James.
Stephen James, yes.
Great. He showed me a lot. I'm very thankful to Stephen James. Obviously taking me under his wing when I was a 17, 18-year-old boy.
Wow.
The legend fly half he was, it taught me a lot of skills. So that helped me with my game. But, obviously the coach that started it all, and, I still recommend and I still highly, as one of my best coaches is who actually played one Wallaby match, was Mick Ellen.
Mick Ellen, yes.
So Mick Ellen, you would know Chris, who was at West Harbour, and he's a long-time coach of West Harbour, and he's been loyal to West Harbour for a very long time. And he was one of my best coaches.
Wow.
So, as you can see, there was a lot of good coaches throughout my career. Ex-Welsh international, Phil Davies, right? Then you got other coaches, Paul Dalton, Jimmy Hook was another one, Tony Melrose. Right? So there was quite a few coaches throughout my time, mate, in my rugby career. But I'm very thankful for every single one of them, to be honest, because they helped me with my journey. They helped me with my life, and also, the values that they brought to the game and to other people was amazing.
Wow.
So, and it's very important. And we may not like a lot of coaches that we come across, right? But put that aside and just look at the positives, right? And take what you want to take in, right? And just forget about the negative stuff, right? Because look, all coaches can't please everyone, mate.
That's right.
It's just the way it is, right? And if we want to please everyone, then, then we won't bring the best out of it.
That's right.
And that's what you got to look at. So look, as I said, mate, I'm very thankful to all the coaches, but obviously, the biggest influence in my life concerning rugby is actually my parents. My dad was obviously in the forefront there. And one thing I learned, and, with coaches can, and this is one thing I've taken on board with my HR, coaches can tell you what you want to hear. All right. But Dad, all right, you get your father, who was, as I said, my biggest supporter. He told me the honest truth.
Yeah.
As a coach now that I'm one of those coaches, I will tell the kids or tell whoever I coach the honest truth, and that is it. But rather than hear the truth, they're not hear the truth at all down the track, right? And then they come back and say, well, I don't like that coach because he didn't tell me the honest truth, and look at me now. So instead of sugarcoating it and buttering it, just tell the honest kid the truth, because they can handle it.
Wow, that's awesome. I love that.
All right. So and that's why I do what I do. And God's given me this calling concerning English grassroots and coaching the youngsters. Because the talent that I got given as a rugby player, it wasn't mine to keep, Chris. It was actually mine to share. Right, and I'm not one of those coaches that keep all the stuff to myself. No, I don't. I like to share it. Right, and if it inspires you, happy days. If it doesn't, look, move on. And that's how it is, man. As I said, I can't please everyone, but I'll do the best I can. Right. So going back to your questions, obviously with the highlights of my career, mate, there's a few people that obviously inspired me, and obviously, as I said to you, when I was young, Stephen James. Right, as I got a bit older, the famous Willie O. Famous Willie O, very humble, and the way he perceived himself, mate, he wasn't much of a talker. He did all his talking on the field. Right?
Right.
Another person is Michael Jones.
Wow.
Legend Michael Jones. Watch him play. They call him the Iceman. And I can see why he's the Iceman, right? Because he's obviously cool under pressure. He's one of the best players in the world. Right, so you look at those guys, but when what actually got me for, obviously playing on the game and love the game of rugby, and I also wanted to play rugby, was when I was obviously going through my teenage life. I was watching the Yellow Brothers. Mark, Gary, and Glenn, and watching the ball movement with these guys in attack. I said, "Wow, what a game!" Even though I was playing rugby league at the time, I thought to myself, "Okay, I'd love to try this game and see how it is," because it seems like a lot of fun, right? And the game, obviously, they call it heaven, right? Yeah. There must be a reason for it.
That's right.
And that's why. So, it was like poetry in motion. It was awesome, So, obviously going on that tour to New Zealand, I looked at it and I go, okay, this is a sport for me, right? And then obviously growing up, I set targets for myself, set goals for myself. And I was very, very fortunate, Chris, that I got introduced to a sports psychologist at a very young age.
Wow.
And a sports psychologist obviously told me about goal setting, right? And obviously set your goals, right? Because if you don't set goals, right, then how are you going to improve? How are you going to develop, right? And, what are you going to get out of it? Right? We can sit here and we can talk, and I don't set any goals. So what do I actually achieve from it, Chris? I don't actually achieve it. Right? So I need some goals. I need some incentive. I need some challenge to actually get me to where I need to get to and develop the skills I need to get to, right, to be that person. But not only I'm not talking about in rugby also or in sports, but I'm also talking about, Chris, life in general.
That's right.
All right. So, look, we'll move on. Sorry, mate, taking most of your time, but...
All good, man.
Going on to some of the rugby games. Obviously, my first rugby game for Tonga, I debuted at 1993. And
wow.
Obviously, it was against Fiji. And it wasn't actually the best game. It was actually probably average. Here I am, a Tongan player from Sydney, come and play in Tonga in a test match against Fiji. Wow, it was actually very daunting, very daunting. Obviously I didn't know much about the Tongan customs or the Tongan ways. I lived most of my life overseas, go over to Tonga. Wow, it was very eye-opening. I got there, with all my clothes, suitcase of clothes, first training session, in my room, come back, all my clothes are gone, man. And here I'm rooming with the captain of my team, and I'm thinking to myself, man, back home in Australia, you leave your stuff around, but you go there, boom, man, it was all gone. And I looked around, I asked everyone, and they said, no, we don't know who it is. Next training session after that, I see the captain wearing my stuff.
What?
But look, I totally get it. I totally understand. They didn't have what we had, and I don't mind, giving my stuff away. So, that was my first memory of Tonga. But then after that, because I didn't perform very well in that first test, I set my goals of redeeming myself and going back, and make sure that I get back in that Tongan test team and be a regular. All right. So obviously the next goal was 94, being a fullback for Tonga, getting our team into the Rugby World Cup in 1995. So obviously, I was in the system in 94 with the Tongan team, played much better. And then I set myself a target to be in the World Cup in 1995. So one of the memories I had in my first game, and this is where I encountered God as well. We played against Fiji, and we had to win by 2 points. So Fiji had the opportunity to go to the Rugby World Cup. So this was the last leg. And if Fiji win, they go through. And if we win, we would go through, but we had to win by 2 points. So Fiji scored 2 tries, we scored 1, and it was 10-5 with about 2 minutes to go. It was played in Tonga, and I had 6 kicks and goal at this time throughout the whole game. And, mate, I missed every one. Mate, it was. I kicked it sweetly, I hit it sweetly, went through. It was going through straight. But at some point, I think I know some kind of ghost or some kind of devil was sitting on that post and just knocking it to the side.
Wow.
Anyway, so yes, and this is where I first encountered the Tongan people and the Tongan culture, right? And wow, here I am. We scored in the corner, and they made it 10-all. Right, so this is do or die, man. We go to the World Cup in 1995, or we don't. So at this time, I've missed 6 kicks a goal. Right, and when I got the ball back, man, I hear the people. People were swearing at me, man. Right, and I go, wow. That actually made me feel really, really bad. It degraded me because, hang on, man. This is not the support I'm looking for. But
Yeah,
I understand why they're so angry. Because they're very passionate people about the game, and so angry. And, they gave it to me. Right? But remembering what my psychologist said, just block it out. Block it out. So at this point in time, I blocked it out, but I also knew that there's a reason for everything. And I prayed to God. I said, God, if this is meant for us to go to World Cup, then give it to me. So I placed the ball on the corner of the left hand, directly parallel to opposite where we scored in the corner, number 8 at the time. And you would know Chris, I'm sure you played with him or you played against him, Martin Manukia.
Yeah, Martin, yeah.
Yes, representing Tonga as well. And he scored in the corner. So here we are, 10-all with a kick to come. So I placed the ball and I did a prayer at the time. So when I looked up from where I was placing the ball and the goalpost, right, all I saw was a gleaming white line. I looked around and I didn't see no one. And this is where I counted God. Right? And I knew from then that the ball was going to go straight through the post. Right? So I turned around, did my run up. I kicked the ball, but you look where it was going. I turned and run to the halfway line. Right? Because I knew that God helped me that day.
Wow.
So we won the game, 12-10 against Fiji, and we got to get to the World Cup in 19.
That's amazing, man. And,
yeah. My 6 kicks that I missed that day, right, was rectified from that 1 kick.
Wow.
And I felt the love of the people straight after that. I was a villain, but then I turned into a hero after that.
Wow.
And I'll never forget it. God can do amazing things, right, there and then.
Wow.
So, and that's why we have faith, and that's why we believe in God, and it plays a big part in our lives. And that was, one of the encounters that got me through to playing rugby and love the game that we play at the moment. And that's it. So I carried on playing for Tonga for on and off for the next 10 years. And obviously, going back to the biggest memory of them all was the Rugby World Cup in 1999. 2 years later, obviously against Italy. But there's a story behind that, Chris. Obviously, being the fittest on that team, and obviously through injuries and etc. But my dad gave me a Bible verse, so I didn't play against the All Blacks due to injury, right? And I was supposed to go home, but my dad gave me a Bible verse in Proverbs concerning the fear of God. And it wasn't, so I read it, and it took me about 14 hours to actually understand it. Right, so it wasn't actually the fear of being scared of God. It was more so about respecting God. Once I understood that, my dad said to me that God would do do something so special to you that the whole world will see.
Wow.
Yes, and I said to my dad, being young, obviously not young, but being, tell me what it is that, And my dad said, I can't tell you because I don't even know myself. If I told you, then I will be God, but I'm not God. I just know that God's going to do something for you on the day. So obviously got named in the team against Italy. Cut the story short. It was 25-all against Italy. First time we ever played against Italy. 25-all with probably another 30 seconds to go. Right, and I was probably about 47 meters out, right? And I've never ever, kicked a field goal ever in my whole life. not at training, not at during the game, not at shoot shield, not at any kind of level.
Wow.
Right? And this was that one time, and I said to God, if this is what the message is for the whole world to see, give it to me. So yeah, and a legend, Sammy Talpauafe, was at the time half position at that point, heard me calling. I was 47 metres out, and I did a field goal, and Tonga won 28-25.
Wow.
So yeah, so there's another encounter with God, and he, I'd never forget it, and I'm sure a lot of other Tongans at that time would never forget it as well, because it was actually amazing to actually give in a drop goal in a Rugby World Cup in front of everyone around the world. That's a great message from God.
That's so powerful. Like, you know what, Dex, I rewatched that this morning. And then it just took me back to that memory. Like, I think at 99, I was probably 16. And I remember watching it, and it just took me back to that feeling that we felt in our living room, when we watched that go over. So yeah, man, for those of you that haven't seen it, go on YouTube. It's on there. In fact, I'll share the link on our page so you can have a look. But you'll see the legend. And that's what it is, for those that are watching. When real champions are the ones that step up when it's time. And there's moments, there's last 30 seconds that's taken in the game, where there's no hope, they're looking around, and then all of a sudden, hey, I'll step up. And that's what real champions are, and that's why you're a champion, Becky, Wave off and on the field.
I don't know if I'm a champion, but look, mate, I'm just very thankful, very blessed. I wasn't the most talented player, Chris. I was one of those that worked hard. Obviously, if I had a job when I was working, I wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, I go for a run.
Wow.
I go to work, and then when I come back, before training session, whether it's club or whether I come and do my hour before the club training session, do the training session and go home. And that was, mainly my days. So if you really, really want it, you got to work hard at it.
Wow, that's awesome. Awesome awesome, Dickie, man. I really encourage you to go watch it. And like Dickie was saying, Kevin, you got to don't just do what it takes, do whatever it takes. You've heard there from a man who's been there, training 4 in the morning, work, and then go again. And that's what it takes. So definitely some awesome takeaways there. Next, if we can move to your time in England. Was it, correct me if I'm wrong, you spent a bit of time playing league as well?
Sorry, say that again, Chris, sorry?
If we can move to England, when you went to England, and please correct me if I'm wrong, you played a bit of league in England as well, eh?
Yes, I did. I went over there after the World Cup in '95. I played, I got a contract with Leeds Rhinos.
Wow.
And obviously, I played with a few legends. Obviously, my cousin George Mann, Kevin Iro, played with these guys.
Wow.
Dean Bell was my coach, and Hugh McGann was the manager of the Leeds at the time. Right. So, I think they're expecting a lot of big things of me, because I think they, put me up as this big 6'4" guy, but not really, man. I was only 6 foot, but had the opportunity to play rugby league. And look, rugby league was good. And the people that I was with, they were, very good to me. But then rugby union turned professional in '96.
Oh, that's
95, 96. So 96. And then rugby union, obviously turned professional, and then rugby union brought me back from rugby league. Right, so I was with Leeds. So I was there for another 4 years, and then I was contracted to Worcester Warriors after that for another 4 years.
Wow.
So I was in England for about 8 years.
So you were in England for 8 years, Tongan boy in England. Man, was it that you what are some stuff you did over there, like you visit Buckingham Palace and all that?
Oh man, we did a lot of stuff. Obviously, England, obviously it's close to a lot of countries out there, especially Europe, mate. It's not like here in Australia where you're isolated and it takes you 4 hours to go to another country, right? You can just go to another country, within an hour, right?
Wow.
Just fly across. Obviously, showed me a lot. Obviously, been to Greece, been to Spain, all those areas. Obviously Ireland, Wales, France. and you get to, while you're over there, you get to spend a bit of time across all these other countries, which was good, but was England, enjoyable place? At times it was very cold. You obviously in winter sometimes you wake up in the morning 8 o'clock and it's still dark.
Wow.
Come home at 4, 3 o'clock in the afternoon and it's already starting to get dark. Right? Do I miss the cold? No. Right? Too cold for me. I'm a summer person. I like the heat and I enjoy it. But look, as I said, man, another chapter closes, another one opens. So you look at your life as just a book.
Yeah, true.
I had a great time there. Met a lot of good friends. I met a lot of good people through rugby, through just supporting as well, and also a lot of people that helped me throughout my life. Everyone that's been a part of my life, I'm very thankful.
Oh, that's awesome, Dick. Wow, man. So, what a career, man, and to see that you've done all of that, and to see that you still look 21, man.
Oh, thanks, mate. Obviously without no hair and a few gaps in my teeth, yes.
Still looking 21. That's awesome, bro. And for those that are watching, like that's what, like, when you dedicate yourself and when you commit, like, sport can take you around the world. And as you heard there from Coach Teki, he's seen a lot, he's done a lot, he's played in high-end games, and not just played in high-end games, but also was involved in some crucial time in the game, where he had to make that choice to believe in himself, and because of that, was able to kick the final goal to beat Italy, but also in Tonga. So, true champion, true champion. I'm going to shift gears from the Teki, because obviously when I came to know you, was when you were coaching as well. So from transitioning from a player to a coach, you coached some professional teams as well. What was that like? What was it like? Because you coached Tonga A, you coached Ikaletahi, Sevens to Tonga, and also what was that like? Stepping from playing as a professional player to now coaching as a pro coach.
Well, I think it's the next best thing to playing. Actually, when you retire, you still want to be involved in the game, right? And I think coaching is the next best part to it. But coaching obviously has its ups and downs as well. So look, you obviously got to be passionate about it, but also you've got to be open-minded and you've got to face a lot of challenges concerning coaching, especially in the professional era, when they expect you get paid a lot of money, and expect you to perform as a coach. But look, I've done all that, and at this point in time, transitioning from a player to a coach, it's made my job easier because, again, I'm passionate about it, but I also want to give back what I had as a player, right? And listen to all the coaches that coached me beforehand. I take the good out of them, and that's what I use now.
Wow.
Amongst the players, right? And that's what's helped me change it from a player to actually a coach. So that's helped me in a lot of ways.
That's awesome. Like you mentioned earlier, you said that I remember, and I remember actually saying this to me in the room one time. I think it was in Argentina. It was when I first got a chance to play for Tonga A, and I remember you saying, you're encouraging me, and you're speaking life into me, and then I said thank you, and then you said exactly what you said before in our podcast. You said, Chris, my gift is not mine to keep but to share, and that's always stuck with me, and I can see that in your coaching, and what you're doing now. Like even as a coach, you still have that servant heart and the humility to be, it's not mine to keep but mine to share. Because I remember countless times I've called you and said, Dexter, because I'm not a sevens player, I need some help around sevens coaching, and you're always there to stretch out your hand and to help in that, and I'll always remember that about you, and it's definitely helped me in what I do as a coach now. But moving back into your transitioning from coaching, from player to coach, and seeing and knowing what it means to be a professional player, but also being in that role of being a coach and having to select players and what you're looking for athletes that want to be pro athletes. The viewers that are going to be watching, or who are watching, they want to be where you have been and where I've gone. What advice can you give them in regards to what coaches are looking for as in players?
I mean, look, I say it all the day, every day now in the last summer, probably 3-4 months, concerning what excuse do you have?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah, awesome.
You know, so you have a choice. The choice is yours, right? So you either want to just sit there, you're naturally talented, you just want to sit there and hopefully it all works out for you, but it doesn't work that way, right? Or you want to work hard and you want to get to where you want to get to by, you know, having a lot of positive people around you. So your support group's got to be in the same kind of page, right, for you to succeed, right? Now you hang around with positive people, right, because they want the same things as you do. They want to train hard, they want to compete, they want to get to the next level. These people will help you support you. So your support group's got to be good, but also, right, and I tell a lot of kids this, and I tell a lot of adults as well. First things first, you got to fix who. You got to fix who do you look in the, when you look in the mirror, who do you see? You see me. You see you.
That's right.
Right, now if you fix you, right, everything else falls into place. Now, if you're doing it because if you're doing it for your parents, you're doing it for the wrong reasons.
Right.
If you're doing it for someone, you want to please someone, you're doing it for the wrong reasons. Right? So when you look in the mirror, who do you see? I see me. So you do it for yourself. When you do it for yourself, right, you're honest to yourself.
Yeah.
And when you're honest to yourself, right, you put in the hard work, right, everything else, what will fit into place. Your parents will be happy. All the people that support you will be happy. Everyone will be happy. Right? So you've got to fix yourself.
Wow. That's awesome. And I wrote that down. Because I like the acronym that you've I've seen you write it up on your Facebook. Because I see you, man, like even like after you've done all of that, and I just see the way you push yourself in of your own training, and then like when you put up that thing and what excuse you have, that's so true. Because in this day and age and time that we live in, a lot of us have everything in our hands. We're able to walk, we're able to speak, we're able to breathe. We take those things for granted, and yet a lot of times we don't succeed. It's because of we make excuses when it gets hard.
Yes,
and I love what you said. And this is some key points for those that are watching. And I wanted to write this down. Teki said, having the right support group, getting around people that want the same thing as you. And then the second thing you put there was fix you, because like you said, Teki, the only person that can beat you at the end of the day is you.
Absolutely, mate.
It's not the person that, oh man, I'm better than him. Why did he get selected for? I'm faster, I'm stronger. He's not even worried about you.
That's right. Right. So you absolutely, you worry about yourself. I mean, going back, Chris, I mean, I do a bit of CrossFit. And I'm very thankful that, CrossFit Seek,
awesome. Shout out to CrossFit Seek.
Yes, CrossFit Seek over at Marion. So our coaches, Dave Thomas and Luana, awesome coaches, because, I'm not there to compete against other people. I'm there to compete against myself.
Wow.
And that's how they put it. Right?
Yeah.
If I came in there, right, and I walked in there and I seen a person that did CrossFit for 5 years, right, and being competitive as I am, I'll look at it and I go, I'm going to challenge him. If I do challenge him, then I'm going to end up in a worse place. So what you have to do is, right, you go on your own pace.
Yeah.
Right? You go on your pace and you compete in that way.
That's awesome.
Right? And that's how you progress. That's how you progress and that's how you develop. Right? And, also the support of my kids and my lovely wife being in CrossFit as well, right, has helped me tremendously. A lot of people might think that I inspire my wife because of my rugby background, because of my training, that's brought into CrossFit. No. She actually inspires me, right, because she's motivated. She wants to do it. So I'm there to support her.
That's awesome.
And that's why I still do it. Right, and I see my kids say, if we do it as parents, as I said again, you fix yourself. If you do it yourself, your kids will follow through.
Yeah.
You lead by example.
I love what you said there, Tiki, because as well, like not just speaking to athletes here, because I know a lot of parents are going to be watching, and I like that you highlighted that if we want our kids to do what we're telling them to do, then we need to be leading by example, and we need to be living what we're preaching. Otherwise, you know, the kids will be like confused to be like, "Oh, they're telling me to do this, but you're not even doing them. You're not even doing it." But the strongest teachers for our kids is ourselves.
Yes, yes, indeed. I mean, because you look at it, I didn't want to be those parents. And I've seen a lot of parents, especially growing up in, I'm not saying our Tom community is bad. No, it's not, right? But just saying, you know, a lot of, because we eat a lot of food.
Yeah.
Right? We love our food, right? And then as we get older, we put on a bit of weight, right? And then we have our kids and young kids. And when the young kids, after a big feast, they go, Daddy, can we go to the park and play? Right? And you go, hang on, can you ask one of your brothers to take you? Right? But what excuse do you have?
That's right.
You know,
That's
you want
right.
to enjoy your time with your daughter. You want to enjoy your time with your kids at that young age. So you know what? Pick yourself up, take yourself down in it.
That's awesome. I love that. I love that. I love that. You know, what I love about our podcast this evening is that we're hitting a lot of areas. You know, the area of family, the area of the individual athlete, the area of being a sportsman, but also the area of the game of life. And that's what I always love about you, Coach, you know, because you're always that coach. You know, you get coaches that coach in one area. You just focus on fundamentals, which is the skill of being a rugby player. And then you got coaches that coach as in the fundamentals area, but they also have the psychology, be able to motivate, you know, and help set goals. But then you got the coaches who also know how to capture the heart, you know, and that's who you are, dogs. You know, that's who you are, coaches. So I always remember you're that coach that can teach a skill, and also motivate the athlete or the person outside of just the rugby, but also you know how to capture the heart. And also I love about you, man.
Well, in saying that, because you know, I think it's special when it comes from the heart. Because when it comes from the heart, it means a lot more.
Yeah.
Right. You know, and this is what I say to a lot of my EGR clients. You know, I'm not here about money. If it's about money, mate, you can roll through the door.
Yeah.
But if I see a kid that doesn't want to be here, I tell the parents, I don't want your money. Take your kid and see you later.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're wasting your time, you're wasting my time.
That's right.
And if a kid doesn't want to be here, why am I going to pursue? You know, so you know, and that's how I look at it, mate. It's got to come from the heart, right?
Yeah.
When a kid does come, right, I give him my all, and that's why it's coming from the heart.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, that's right. I still call you coach. You know that, and I don't say coach because you know you're coaching me, but for me it's the respect. You know, and that's why I still call you coach, even though we're on a level of brothers now and doing life, but I still respect you as a coach. And
No,
I
man,
will
thanks
call you
very
coach
much, man.
and all that because that's how much respect I have for you. Now we're going to shift it to just to our last question, and that is, you know, you've been doing some amazing work at EGR. You know, I've seen it on Facebook. You've touched a lot of lives in Sydney. You shared with us your philosophy around what that's all about, and what's next now for Coach Sateki, EGR, and all of that, family.
What's next for me? Look, I carry on with EGR. I love EGR. I love grassroots. Right. The reason why I love grassroots, Chris, is because the grassroots when you're young, right, as a parent, right, you teach your young kids great values.
Yeah.
Right, and when they grow up with those values, it's already instilled in them. Because why? Because you taught them young.
That's right.
Right. So with me and grassroots, I love it because I instill those great values in these kids. So whatever those values are for those parents, I support them 100%. So when they come to my EGR lessons, it's not only about teaching them skills, but it's also mentoring these kids, right? But also, as my EGR says, it's all about the end product. Now, the end product is being for the person. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Now, if the kids won't make it to be superstars, that's a bonus, Chris. Right? But it's about them being better people at the end of the day.
Wow.
That's why it's important. And that's why I
Wow.
love grassroots, because I get the kids really early, right? So when they instill with these great values at a young age, right, they got it for the rest of their lives.
Wow.
And that's why EGR is very important to me and my family, because I got told a little story, and I would like to share with everyone. And the story was a man who had two daughters, right? And when the daughters were 4, he had to leave to go to work. So he left the daughters with the mother, and he had to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning to go to work, right? So he didn't see his kids, right? Just kiss them goodbye, they'll sleep. He'll come back 10 o'clock at night, the kids already asleep. So he did this for over 10 years. So when the girls got to the ages 14, they became teenagers, right? And he started, then the man knocked back his work because he wanted to spend time with his kids, his daughters. His daughters didn't want to spend time with him, right? Because why? Because he was always away, right, in those 10 years.
Wow.
Right? So that's why grassroots, right, is very important at that young age, right? So when we instill at that very young age, they will never forget it.
Wow.
Right? So, and that's why the daughter said to the man, right, you were never there, Dad. Right? But the father was there. He was trying to build his empire, which is his big house, big swimming pool, right? But all of that is no use when your daughters don't want to spend time with you.
That's right.
Right? So that's why I say to everyone, and especially parents, all right, money, yes, money helps, but money's not everything. Right? Now, instill those great values that you have in your kids at a very young age. Because you know why? As they grow older, those habits, right, have made them the person they are.
That's right.
Right? And instill in them, right, and it'll be strong enough, right? So when you get older, they spend a lot of time with you anyway.
That's awesome. That's awesome because I love that story because if we look at it with this time of COVID, you know, it has, like you're saying at the beginning, you know, whether you have money or don't have money, it doesn't make a difference in this time. But what does make a difference is how you're going to use this time.
That's right.
To reflect on what's important, and you know, like even for me, docs, like you know, like I do ministry, do ainama, do all of that. But I used to find myself at times like I'll be home but not home. Like I'll be in the presence of my kids but not be there with my kids. And that's something that like COVID has really taught me, which I've learned off you as well. It's that, you know, really valuing that time. There's no point trying to build something if you can't even build your home, which is your first ministry. And that's awesome because it really ties in with this time. And then I hope, and my prayer, and I know it's your heart and prayer as well as many others, that in these times that it would have brought families together, and strengthen that foundation, especially now, docs, because you know there is going to be a little bit of normality, and so I hope that whatever was learned in the season not going to be thrown away as things become a little bit normal, as in restrictions and that. Like, what's your thoughts around that?
Absolutely right, Chris. I think people got to prioritize what's important in their lives.
Yeah.
Right. You know, for me, you know, I can speak for me and my family. What's important in my life, obviously, one is God.
Yeah.
Right? 2 is family, right? And the rest is bonus. That is it.
Wow, I like that.
You know, and they're the most important things. You know, and obviously, you know, for young kids out there, and you know, obviously watching concerning sport, right? Sport, right, is a bonus. The most important thing, obviously, as I said to you, believe in God, then family, then education. Education is very important, right? Because if something happens to you from here, right, concerning sport, and you can't play sport again, what are you going to fall back on? Education. Education is very important, right? Because you can get a job anyway.
That's right.
Right. Sport is just a bonus, right? It's a privilege. So education is one of those important things.
Love that. Sport is a privilege. Love that. And so Teki, that brings us to the end of our podcast. You know, did you have any final words? If you were speaking directly, let's say, to the athletes right now, what would be Teki's 3 main points or messages for them?
Three main points. Don't die wondering.
Nice.
That's one. Two, give it your all.
Give it your all.
Right. And three, mate, pray about it.
Awesome. Love it, man. Love it, love it, love it. Don't die wondering. Give it your all. And a power of prayer. And you already heard the importance of power of prayer, as Nicky shared earlier, with those key, crucial moments in the game. But even if you're watching and you're not a believer, and then I want to encourage you, if you want to know more about Jesus and about what we know as in our faith, please reach out. I'll be happy to share a bit more. Sateki Tuipulotu, aka The Rock, aka Sylvester Stallone, aka Superman. Man, we want to say on behalf of Ainama and all our Ainama family, and everybody that is watching, like I'm going to speak on behalf of the Tongan people, speak on behalf of everybody that's ever watched you play. We honor you. We honor you, brother. We honor you for the way you serve the sport, the sport of rugby, the way that you represented the red jersey, the way that you coach, and also all that you do, seen and unseen. We want to honor you and say thank you for your years of serving, and we know that there are plenty more coming out of Coach Sateki because you still look 21. I know you feel 21. I want you to do those moves on CrossFit, and you look like you still feel 18. And so I reckon you can still put on the booster. So I want to thank you, Toko. Even to Heather, shout out, sis, to you. Thank you for releasing your husband to be with us this morning, and also to your kids as well. And we wish all the best, many blessings of the EGR, and as you continue to do that as well. And so thank you, Dickie.
Well, Chris, I'd like to say thank you very much, obviously, to Iron Arm Academy, yourself and Rochelle, for all the hard work you guys do and what you do for the community, what you do for the church. Well, mate, I support you 100%. Love what you do. Right? And look, it's God's calling, mate, and God bless you, mate. Thank you very much for everything.
I love you, Coach. It means a lot, and we will be in touch with you again. We've got our Momentum Conference coming up in 2 weeks. If you're watching, Coach Sateki will be on there again to share more wisdom, more nuggets, more takeaways. I'm not talking about McDonald's takeaway, I'm talking about takeaways that will help you for life. And so make sure you tune into that once all that advertisement goes up. But again, Dickie, thank you again. Bless you, brother, and have a great day with your family, and we'll keep in touch. Thank you, Paco. Well, there you have it. Thank you, Coach Sateki. Massive shout out to you, Heather, and the kids and your family. Thank you for blessing us this evening with your story, for inspiring us, for empowering us. I know that we won't leave the same way that we logged in, because that was just inspiring stuff. And we pray many blessings upon you as you continue your journey through coaching, but also through your EGR and with your family. And to our viewers, make sure that you reflect on your notes, that you wrote down some notes, reflect on the notes, and apply it. The key is applying these takeaways and what you learn from our guest speakers. But again, thank you to everybody for tuning in. And please stay tuned. We've got more episodes coming out. But until then, it's your boy, CEO Medovitz. God bless. Be safe. And let's go.